The Hall of Steel was built to intimidate. Towering pillars of black alloy stretched toward a ceiling that shimmered with faint blue energy shields. Every step taken inside the chamber echoed for several seconds, as if the building itself was reminding visitors how small they were. Alien banners hung along the walls, symbols of the Galactic Dominion, the most powerful military empire in known space. And at the center of the hall stood a single human. His wrists were bound with energy cuffs. His clothing was torn from battle. A faint line of dried blood ran across his cheek. Yet he stood straight, calm, silent. Around him, dozens of armored guards watched carefully, their multi-jointed weapons aimed directly at his chest. To them he looked unimpressive. Humans had only recently entered the galactic stage, and their reputation was confusing. Some reports claimed humans were fragile, emotional creatures barely suited for interstellar politics. Other reports, usually written by survivors, said something very different. But the Dominion preferred the first version. At the far end of the hall, massive doors slid open with a metallic thunder. A towering alien strode into the chamber. Commander Rathkale, leader of the Dominion Guard. 7 feet tall. 4 armored arms. Eyes glowing amber beneath a ridged battle helm. His footsteps alone made the floor tremble. The guards immediately straightened. Commander on deck. Rathkale approached slowly, studying the prisoner with open curiosity. This, he said in a low voice, is the human who destroyed 3 patrol cruisers? One of the officers nodded nervously. Yes, Commander. Rathkale looked the human up and down. Then he laughed. A deep, rumbling sound that echoed across the chamber. This? His upper right hand tapped the energy cuffs. This fragile creature? The officer cleared his throat. The battle reports confirm it, Commander. He boarded the first cruiser alone. Alone? Yes. And survived. The officer hesitated. Barely any of the crew did. Rathkale's glowing eyes narrowed. He stepped closer to the human. For a moment, the two simply stared at each other. The commander expected fear, or anger, or desperation. Instead, the human looked bored. Rathkale did not like that. You destroyed Dominion ships, the commander said. The human shrugged slightly. They shot first. Murmurs rippled through the guards. The commander tilted his head. Your species has only been part of the galactic community for a few years. Yet you already challenged the Dominion? The human sighed. You're the ones who came into human territory. Rathkale leaned forward slightly. You attacked military vessels. They attacked a civilian mining station. Silence filled the hall. The guards exchanged uneasy glances. Rathkale's voice grew colder. You expect us to believe you fought 3 warships alone for justice? The human looked directly into the commander's glowing eyes. I fought because someone needed to. For a brief moment, something unreadable passed across Rathkale's face. Then he laughed again. Humans truly are strange. He turned to the gathered officers. Is this the best warrior their species has to offer? One officer answered cautiously. Intelligence suggests humans have unusual combat history. Unusual? They have fought many planetary wars before joining the Galactic Council. Rathkale waved dismissively. Primitive conflicts. Nothing compared to Dominion warfare. The human finally spoke again. You sure about that? Rathkale turned back slowly. The hall became completely silent. You dare question Dominion superiority? The human shrugged again. Just asking. The commander stared at him for several seconds. Then he smiled. Not a friendly smile. A predator's smile. Very well, human. He gestured toward the massive circular arena built into the floor. The metal plates began sliding apart, revealing a deep combat pit surrounded by energy barriers. This facility exists for one purpose. The human glanced down at the arena. Let me guess. Combat. Figured. Rathkale stepped closer. You claim strength. You destroyed Dominion vessels. You speak with confidence despite standing in chains before your enemies. The commander leaned forward until their faces were inches apart. Prove it. The guard suddenly looked uneasy. Commander, one officer began. Rathkale raised a hand to silence him. I will personally test this human. Shock spread across the hall. The guard commander himself almost never fought prisoners. The human looked mildly interested. You want to fight me? Rathkale straightened proudly. Yes. The human tilted his head slightly. You sure that's a good idea? Gasps spread through the guards. No prisoner had ever spoken to the commander like that. Rathkale's eyes burned brighter. You believe you can defeat me? The human shrugged. I didn't say that. Then why question me? Because, the human replied calmly, you might not like the result. For a moment the hall was perfectly silent. Then the commander burst into thunderous laughter. Remove his chains. The guards hesitated. Commander. Now. The energy cuffs deactivated with a soft click. The human rolled his wrists casually. Rathkale stepped toward the arena entrance. Prepare the combat pit. Massive machinery roared to life. Energy shields activated around the circular battleground. Weapon systems powered down. This would be a pure physical duel. No guns. No armor advantages. Just strength and skill. The commander removed pieces of ceremonial armor, leaving only flexible combat plating. He looked enormous, powerful, practically unstoppable. The human simply cracked his neck. You ready? Rathkale asked. The human nodded once. Yeah. The commander grinned. You should know something before we begin. Oh. I have never lost a duel. The human walked into the arena pit. Dust swirled around his boots. He glanced up at the towering alien commander. Then he smiled slightly. There's a first time for everything. The crowd of guards leaned forward. The energy barrier sealed with a bright flash. The duel had begun. And none of them realized they were about to witness something the Dominion would talk about for centuries. The energy barrier sealed the arena with a humming vibration that rippled across the metal walls. The hall of steel grew quiet. Every guard, officer, and observer leaned forward. The duel had begun. Commander Rathkale stood at the center of the arena like a statue carved from war itself. His massive form towered above the human. 4 powerful arms flexed slowly. Every movement radiated lethal strength. Across from him, the human stretched his shoulders casually. No armor. No visible weapon. Just a calm expression. That annoyed Rathkale. Are you ready, human? The commander asked. The man nodded. Whenever you are. Rathkale's eyes flared. He lunged forward. The first attack came like a meteor. One of his lower arms swung in a devastating strike that could shatter reinforced bone. The guards expected the human to be crushed instantly. Instead, the human moved. Not fast in the way Dominion warriors moved, but precise. He stepped aside at the last possible moment. The blow slammed into the arena floor with a thunderous impact. Metal cracked. The commander blinked. Interesting. He attacked again, faster this time. 2 arms struck simultaneously. The human ducked. A third arm came from the side. The human pivoted away. The crowd began murmuring. Rathkale paused. You're quick, he admitted. The human shrugged. You're predictable. A ripple of shocked whispers spread through the chamber. No one spoke to the guard commander like that. Rathkale's expression hardened. He charged again, this time with real force. The arena shook as he attacked with all 4 arms in a brutal combination of strikes. The human retreated across the arena floor, dodging, weaving, redirecting. Not once did he attempt to strike back. That irritated Rathkale. You only run, the commander growled. The human finally spoke. I'm studying. Rathkale froze for a fraction of a second. Studying? Yeah. The human tilted his head slightly. 4 arms. Strong left side. Your upper right shoulder joint is slower. The commander's eyes widened slightly. He attacked again, more aggressively. But something had changed. The human wasn't just dodging anymore. He was positioning. Waiting. The next strike came like lightning. Rathkale aimed directly for the human's chest. The human stepped forward. Forward. Instead of backward. The guards gasped. At the last second, the human slipped inside the commander's reach. A sharp strike landed against Rathkale's lower rib plating. It wasn't powerful, but it was accurate. The commander staggered one step. The entire hall went silent. The human had just hit the guard commander. Rathkale slowly looked down at the impact point, then back at the human. You struck me. Yep. You should not have done that. The human smiled faintly. Too late now. The commander roared and attacked again. But this time, the human fought back. Part 3: Human Warfare. The duel changed instantly. Rathkale attacked with overwhelming force. The human answered with something the Dominion had never truly understood. Adaptation. Every strike from the commander was met with a counter. Every attempt to overpower the human was redirected. The human moved like water around a boulder. When Rathkale attacked high, the human slipped low. When Rathkale tried to grab him, the human twisted free. Then the human struck again. A precise hit to Rathkale's elbow joint. Another to the side of his knee. Small strikes. Strategic strikes. The commander realized something unsettling. The human wasn't trying to overpower him. He was dismantling him. The guards began whispering nervously. How is the human doing that? That shouldn't be possible. Rathkale roared and slammed both fists into the ground, sending a shockwave through the arena. The human was thrown backward but rolled smoothly to his feet. Still calm. Still focused. Rathkale stood taller. You fight like a machine. The human shook his head. No. Then what are you? The human's answer was quiet. Human. Then he attacked. For the first time, the human went on the offensive. 3 quick strikes. Rathkale blocked 2. The third slipped through. Another impact against a joint. Pain flashed through the commander's arm. The alien officers watching the duel exchanged uneasy looks. One of them whispered to another. I've seen something like this before. Where? In human historical archives. The second officer frowned. What do you mean? They call it martial arts. Rathkale attacked again. But now his movements were slightly slower. The earlier strikes were beginning to matter. The human circled him calmly. You're strong, the human said. Stronger than most species I've fought. Rathkale snarled. Yet you still believe you can win? The human shrugged. I don't believe. He stepped forward. I know. The commander charged with a furious roar. The arena erupted into motion. Part 4: The Turning Point. This time the clash was brutal. Rathkale grabbed the human mid-dodge and slammed him against the arena floor. The impact shook the hall. Several guards cheered. But the human twisted free before the commander could crush him. He rolled aside and kicked sharply at Rathkale's knee joint. The alien stumbled. For the first time, Rathkale lost balance. The human immediately followed with 2 more strikes. Joint. Shoulder. Pressure points. The commander staggered backward. Shock rippled through the observers. Impossible. That's Commander Rathkale? The commander roared and swung with everything he had left. The human ducked, stepped inside, and struck upward with a powerful blow to Rathkale's central chest plate. The commander froze. The impact point sparked. Air escaped Rathkale's lungs in a violent gasp. The giant alien dropped to one knee. The hall of steel fell silent. No one moved. No one breathed. The guard commander had fallen. The human stood a few steps away, breathing steadily. Not exhausted. Not afraid. Just waiting. Rathkale slowly looked up. For the first time since the duel began. There was no arrogance in his eyes. Only realization. You weren't running earlier, he said quietly. The human shook his head. No. You were analyzing. Yep. Rathkale exhaled slowly. How many battles have you fought, human? The man thought for a moment. Personally? Yes. A few. Rathkale studied him carefully. Your species has a long history of war. The human didn't deny it. Unfortunately. The commander slowly stood again. His injured joints protested, but he remained upright. You could have killed me. The human nodded. Probably. Why didn't you? The human looked around the arena. Then back at Rathkale. Because killing you wouldn't solve anything. The commander stared at him. You are strange creatures. The human smiled slightly. You have no idea. Part 5. Respect. The energy barrier slowly deactivated. The arena doors opened. But no one moved. The Dominion soldiers were still trying to understand what they had witnessed. Commander Rathkale stepped forward slowly. Every guard in the hall straightened nervously. The commander stopped in front of the human. For several long seconds they simply stared at each other. Then something unexpected happened. Rathkale lowered his head. It was the traditional Dominion gesture of respect between warriors. Gasps echoed through the hall. The human blinked. You just bowed to me. Rathkale straightened. You have earned it. The guards were stunned. No prisoner had ever received such an honor. The commander spoke loudly so the entire hall could hear. This human defeated me in honorable combat. He looked around at his officers. And yet he chose mercy. Rathkale turned back to the human. What is your name? Daniel. Daniel of Earth. The commander nodded slowly. Your species is far more dangerous than the Dominion believed. Daniel chuckled softly. Yeah, we get that a lot. Rathkale considered this. Then he gave an order that shocked everyone present. Release him. The officers froze. Commander? You heard me. But he destroyed Dominion ships. Those ships attacked civilian targets first. The officers fell silent. Rathkale turned to Daniel one last time. Humanity will no longer be treated as a minor species. Daniel crossed his arms. That's good to hear. The commander gave a faint smile. After today, no one in the Dominion will underestimate humans again. Daniel looked toward the massive doors leading out of the Hall of Steel. So, does this mean I'm free to go? Rathkale nodded. Yes. Daniel started walking toward the exit. Halfway there he stopped and glanced back. You know? Rathkale raised an eyebrow. Yes. Daniel grinned. You hit pretty hard. The commander laughed deeply. And you are far more dangerous than you appear. Daniel shrugged. It's a human specialty. The giant doors opened. Bright starlight spilled into the hall. Daniel stepped outside. Behind him, the Dominion guards stood in stunned silence. Commander Rathkale watched the human disappear into the light. Then he spoke quietly to his officers. Remember this day. They looked at him. Why, Commander? Rathkale's glowing eyes followed the stars beyond the hall. Because today we learned something important about humanity. The officers waited. Rathkale smiled faintly. Never challenge a human, unless you're ready to lose. And across the galaxy, the story of the human who defeated the Dominion's greatest commander would spread, becoming a legend whispered on 1,000 worlds. A reminder that humanity might look fragile. But underestimating them was the greatest mistake anyone could make.